Growing up in the biggest city of Istria, I've had two different friend groups. One of them were from the actual city, and one of them were from the outskirts of the city. Same language, same 20-minute drive from each other, and honestly, sometimes it felt like two different groups from two different countries. Today, I would like to talk to you about something that's not really spoken of, which is actual difference of people from the city and the difference from the people in the villages, and what it actually taught me about what kind of a person I want to be and what kind of a person I want and will become. Just a little context. Pula, the biggest city in Istria, where I'm from, is contained of, I think, plus 70,000 people. So more than 70,000 people live in the actual city and the outskirts and municipalities. You'd think people are basically the same, since we are all a part of Pula, but it's actually not like that. It's actually two completely different, and growing up, this image is just becoming clearer and clearer, and let me explain it to you. So I can start from the village side of people. Currently, as I'm working in gastronomy as a waiter for the 5th or 6th year, hanging out with the people from the outskirts, you just see the major difference in the mentality, in the jokes they make, in how they approach you, and how they actually respect you, which is, I would say, on a completely higher level than people from the city. The thing that surprised me the most were the jokes which are given out from them to you, but at the same time, the jokes that I give out to them sometimes are a bit weird, direct. Sometimes we swear at each other, but there's always respect. At the end of the day, there is always respect for each other. Even a bunch of them are older than me, and it's quite, I would say, unusual, because I'm not used to it. Since I was so young, since I came to Pula, for my whole life, I've just hung out with boys from the city, boys and girls, doesn't matter. But those were my friends, and growing up, I see the difference of how these guys from the village affect me and how they suit me better than the boys have done, and the boys from the city have done. And it's just, like I said, a whole different world. Like, I remember growing up, the biggest fun that me and the boys from the city would have is playing PlayStation. And don't get me wrong, like, memories from that are beautiful. I wish I could go back in time and do it again and again and again. I remember it so clearly. We would have PlayStation parties late in night, having fun, making jokes and stuff like that. But when it came to me, I am a guy who is an extrovert. I like hanging out with people, meeting new people, talking and stuff like that. And the other guys were just never fond of it, I would say. Like, it was way out of their comfort zone, I think, and I just couldn't have as much fun with them in the social aspect like I have now with the boys from the villages. Now I realized that these guys now are somehow making me into a man, and with them I am becoming who I want to become one day. Like, I see the clear difference how their relationships with the families, their relationships with wives, girlfriends, spouses, brothers, sisters, and it's it's so very interesting to live this life on a daily basis. But the part that stood out for me the most is the making jokes and having the utmost respect at the same time. Like, for example, one moment I can make jokes with someone's grandfather, and then another minute I can help him carry some weights. Like, that's so insane, because I always had that perspective. I always wanted to live a life like that, and now I finally live it, and it's so beautiful. Finally, that I have what I always wanted, I would say, and it makes life so much easier and more fun than it ever was before, honestly. When it comes to the city side friends, our fun was, like I mentioned before, playing PlayStation in the late hours, and it was perfect. Like, it was a nice way of growing up. 2020, 2021 played a big part of it, because we all stayed back home, connected through the video games, and that's why I'm saying, like, that was also a big part of the growing up. And so that was our kind of fun. But quietly, it did cut us off from the rest of the world, from me wanting to meet new people, me wanting to party and hang out with new people. But the way I am, I would always stick up with them rather than going somewhere else, because they were my day ones, and I put kind of their priorities in front of mine, and that did cost me a lot of things. But now that the situation got better, I'm finally rebuilding my life. Or maybe I'm not even rebuilding it, maybe I'm just building it from the zero just now. So that's a cool perspective as well, to think like that. But it never fully set right with me, because I was never that guy. I could have fun with them, but at the end of the day, I came home and I was like, yeah, but today I wish I went out to this party and met new people. If you grew up like this, two towns, two cultures, two versions of normal, please tell me about your experiences, because I definitely want to hear it. What did each side teach you? And if this kind of honest and reflective content is what you are looking for, make sure to sub to the channel, make sure to leave a comment on what your experiences were, and stick with me if this is something that you like listening to, because it's gonna be more of this definitely, and I'm planning on sticking. So yeah, thank you very much for watching once again, and see you in the next one.